Well, hello, folks. Jim here from Record Collector News. Here we go, the current issue, your favorite newsprint, 7 times a year, record-oriented record collector paper. That's 7 times a year on newsprint. Anyway, Happy New Year, everybody. These are the 20 questions for the 2024 vinyl tag. What is the favorite record you purchased in 2023? Well, for me, it was this one. This is a record I've been looking for. It's a grail. It's Zappa live in New York, but this version has on side 1 the song Punky's Whips. Punky's Whips is a song about Punky Meadows, the lead singer for a band called Angel that was signed to Warner Brothers, same as Zappa. In the song Punky's Whips, Frank Zappa tears Punky Meadows apart. And I don't know how many came out with the song on it, but once it was reissued, they didn't have that song on it at all. I got this copy from Germany. It's really nice. It's really clean. It wasn't that expensive. I'd seen it one other time back in about 20 years ago. It was a white label promo, and they wanted close to $1,000 for it. So this record came down in price. Anyway, that's my favorite record of 2023. It is fantastic. Plus, it's a great record. The last record I bought in 2023 was, I think, possibly this one, Lyle Lovett and his Large Band. Great record. I had it back in the day. Was this 1987 or something? It's just a lovely country kind of record. Actually, first time I went to New York, I got tickets to go see David Letterman, and he was the artist that was featured. But what happened was, I think it was Wimbledon, and that David Letterman never showed. But anyway, it was still fun. It was great to be, to see that. All right, 3. Band or singer who released 2 or more albums in the same year. Well, for that, we have to go to Frank Zappa again. And this was something Frank did all the time. He, in 68, he released this record, We're Only In It For The Money. And Frank wanted this to be the cover. But lawyers would not let that happen. It was too similar to Sgt. Pepper's. So anyway, he released this record in March, I believe. In May, he released Lumpy Gravy. Why do I have 2 copies of Lumpy Gravy here? But I do. Lumpy Gravy. And then later on in the year, he released Reuben and the Jets. Again, very common for Frank to release 3 records in a year. Next, we have show a record or a singer. Oh, if you could only listen to music from one decade, what would you choose? Well, for me, it would be the 60s. And the reason is because the 1960s represented a time when, for the first time in history, children, minors, had money to spend. That has never happened before. Minors had money to blow. So they spent that money on records in 45s in the 50s and 60s. That money was the rocket fuel that created this genius pool of musical people such as the Beatles and everyone from that era. When the blues got electrified and anyway, the 60s were my decade. I think it probably ended. The 60s ended in the early 70s. Show a record or band or singer from Manchester. Here we go. John Mayall, I believe, is from Manchester, but he lived in Laurel Canyon for a while. And then, Turning Point, what a great record. And also, Georgie Fame was from Manchester. I have this record, Van Morrison sings with Georgie Fame. I know. Next, we have, which band or singer did I listen to the most? Obviously, Zappa. This record, Funky Nothingness, is his latest real this is new information. Very essential. Great record. Uh, 7-inch records. This is all the 7-inch records I own. Aliento Canino and Mi Guitarra. This is Spanish market. Zappa. Mi Guitarra is My Guitar Wants to Kill Your Mama. Bojack. Pop That Coochie. My Name is Bojack. This guy's my favorite Cajun artist. Bustin' Surfboards, The Tornadoes. This is Zappa related. He didn't do this. He didn't engineer this or produce this, but he did some stuff for the Tornadoes. David Lynch has a painting made of flies' eyes. I mean, come on, who doesn't own that? A band called the Beatles. Paperback Writer and Rain. Cosmic Debris, white label promo, Uncle Remus on the other side. What? Purchased from Rockaway back in the day. What? I have 2 of them. And then this is kind of cool. How about Guitar Player Magazine, a Flexi? Remember Flexis? 7-inch Flexi. This is Zappa and Dweezil doing Charlena. Remember? Up at Universal Amphitheater. Magic Fingers, Zappa again. Those are my 7-inch records. What else do we have here? Who's coming to my party? Well, my party is Frank Zappa, John Lennon, Paul McCartney, and Joni Mitchell. That's my party. Guy who died. This dude. He was a character. Great musician. He'll be missed. Imagine you could only listen to music from one country. What country would you choose? I mean, for me, just because I'm not that eclectic, it would have to be the United States. 3 vinyl community channels I discovered. Permanent Record, Lance from Permanent Records just started a channel. University of Vinyl, I just found his, chock full of information. And Thor from Germany, I like his channel too. Something that I bought when I was a teenager. Well, you know, when I turned 13 in 1969, I got this. Not this one. I don't have any records from when I was a teenager left. My records are gone. They are somewhere. Some of them actually sank on a houseboat in Sausalito. Anyway, funk or soul. I have a lot of funk. I have a lot of soul. I have all that stuff. Here's something interesting. How about Eddie Hazel? Jams from the Heart and Games, Dames, and Guitar Thangs. He did a lot of the guitar work for Parliament and Funkadelic. And then Durando, this guy, the Music City Sessions. There's a story here. Great music. Here's a great question. Everyone has it, and no one has it. So here's one that nobody has. This is You Should Be So Lucky by Benmont Tench on Blue Note. Came out not too long ago. And I think who is it, Glenn Johns? And it is an immaculate, stunning record. It really is. And then this one that everyone has, produced by the same guy, Slow Hand. Glenn Johns did this one too, I think. So those are 2 records I thought were interesting. This is from 77. What's next? Favorite, she's so good. What is it? She's Great, a record by a female artist that I bought in 2023. Well, this is her record that came out in 2023. I don't know. I love this artist is Cecile McLaurin Salvant. She is just amazing. The first time I heard her was at one of the big audio shows, I think at Axpona in Chicago. The room was VTL, vacuum tube logic, amplifiers and stuff, and Vandersteen speakers. And it was Diamonds and Daggers or something like that, her live record, 3-record set. Holy cow, is it fantastic. She's my favorite, really. If you don't know Cecile McLaurin Salvant, she has about 4 or 5 or 6 records out. They're fantastic. 90s classic. What was I doing in the 90s? I wasn't buying a lot of records. I don't know what I was doing, but I don't know. To me, for me personally, this is a 90s classic. Colossal Head by Los Lobos. Tough to find on vinyl, I think. Great record. Used to go to Ensenada a lot in the early 90s, and that was the soundtrack to the trip. And then this band, Morphine, kind of showed up in the 90s. I saw them when they did their showcase. I think it was at the Troubadour. And man, what a band. Gosh darn it. It lasted about 10 years, and Mark Sandman, he had a heart attack on stage in Spain, I think. More questions. If I could walk into a cover, this would be it. Yippee-yi-yo, tie-yay, let's go play Cowboys. Looks like fun. Greatest hits. To me, this is the greatest hits. It's not that it's greatest hits, but when I was a kid growing up, when I was a teenager living at home, I would play this. I would perform this record in my bedroom. I would play air guitar. I would do all the parts. I would jump around like an idiot. I was at this show at the Poly Pavilion. Me and Dave Kephart, his mom drove us from Woodland Hills to UCLA in Westwood, and she waited while we sat in Poly Pavilion and watched this show perform live. It was my first time seeing Zappa. Like I say, we weren't even old enough to drive. So that is like a greatest hits record. I'm so familiar. Anyway, and then show me an album that was released in 1974. How about this? I was living in Mill Valley, California. I dropped out of high school, taken a year off of 12th grade, decided to take a year off. I was living up there. This meant a lot to me. Also, this record came out in 74 too, and it meant a lot to me. It's got that song Forever Young, and my daughter, my first, was born in 75, and that song Forever Young meant a lot to me. So that's my vinyl tag for 2024. I hope everyone has a great year. Record Collector News loves you. Here's a copy, and have a great day, everybody.